So I haven't made one of these videos in a long time, and I decided to make one because I keep seeing the same argument played out over and over, and I wanted to say something about it. In terms of gay marriage, it doesn't really matter. This is not so much about whether or not marriage equality is a good idea, whether or not you think gay marriage should be allowed. That's not what I'm talking about here. There's a kind of argument that's being made lately, and it says that gay marriage is problematic in terms of the definition and that it doesn't make sense. It's saying that the definition of marriage is such that it necessarily opposes the idea of same-sex couples being able to engage in that particular union, right? So they keep saying things like gay marriage is like a square circle. This is a comparison that I've heard over and over. And it's not only wrong, it's absurd. It's ridiculous to say that. Here's the deal. Can you imagine a square circle? What does a square circle look like? You can't imagine that. You can't picture what a square circle would even look like. That's what it means to say that these two concepts are mutually exclusive. That you can't even begin to imagine what they would look like. It doesn't make any sense because there isn't anything. The definition of a square is such that it precludes any possibility of it ever being a circle, something like that. Now, if I say, what does it look like for two guys to be married? I imagine that everyone understands what that would look like. No one has any real problem. No one's like, gay marriage, what? They aren't completely befuddled. When you say gay marriage, no one freaks out and says like, that doesn't even make sense. It couldn't make sense. What would that even mean? No one says anything like that. The reason they don't say anything like that is because we all know exactly what gay marriage would mean. We know what it would mean for homosexuals to marry, what that looks like. No one is surprised. If I say those two women over there are married, no one freaks out and says, what? They look at it and scratch their head and wonder, what could that even begin to possibly mean? No one has that sort of confusion. That's how we know it's not like a square circle. It's not that kind of issue. You can be opposed to gay marriage. You can say that, look, I don't think this is morally right. But to say something along the lines of, the definition is such that these two concepts are mutually exclusive, that there could be no possible overlap, is ridiculous. You don't sound smart. You don't sound like you come up with some sort of argument that just rules out the possibility of gays marrying. You sound like a moron. You sound like a fool. You sound like someone who doesn't understand the kind of argument they're attempting to make in the first place.